So we're picking up where we left off in Halachot of Birkhot Hashahar, the morning blessings that we make. We are on Siman Mem Vav, Halacha 24, Chaf Dalet, 23, Chaf Gimel. Misha Shachach levarech brikat Elokai neshama. If a person forgot in the morning to say the bracha of Elokai neshama, and he remembered in middle of the bracha of Shema. So Shema has its own bracha. Yotzer or v'rachoshech, oseh shalom u'veret hakol. On Shabbat we go to hakol wal yaducha v'hakol. So you remembered in middle, you made the bracha of Shema, and you're in the middle of the bracha of Shema, and you remembered, oh boy, I didn't say Elokai neshama. So what do? What you do is you're allowed to, between the prakim, between each paragraph in its own has a stop in the middle, there's a pause. Right? Between the paragraphs, you could actually stop and say Elokai neshama, and then continue the Birkat Hashahar, Birkat Shema, until after. Or even if you're in the middle of Shema itself, right? You just started the Ahavta, and you're thinking, oh boy, I forgot to say Elokai neshama, and you came to Uvish Arecha. Right before you start the Hayayim Shama Atishmeu, you could say Elokai neshama right there. You say Elokai neshama, Shenatata bi Torah, Ataverata, Ataveratza, Yitzarta. You say it, and then you go back and you go Hayayim Shama. You continue Shema. Why is it so important, basically, that even in the middle of Shema, if you remember you didn't make Elokai neshama in the morning, you can stop and do it? The reason is because it's a bracha, it's a blessing that you're going to lose out on. It's a mitzvah you're going to lose out on if you don't say it right now. Because as we said last week, what happens when you already start Amidah in the bracha of Amidah, when we say Mechayeh Metim, right? Which is the blessing for when we say thank you Hashem, blessed are you, Mechayeh Metim. You bring back to life the dead, right? That already encompasses the bracha of Elokai neshama. Because what are we saying in Elokai neshama? We're saying, Hashem, this neshama that you return to me, because we're at night, we're considered halfway dead. And you return this neshama to me, it's tahora, it's tahor, it's pure, so on and so forth. So when we start Amidah and we say the bracha of Baruch Atah Hashem Mechayeh Metim, you bring the dead back to life. You're Yotzeh, the bracha of, the Mechayeh Metim. So you no longer can say Elokai neshama. Therefore, as long as we're before the Amidah, we want to catch any opportunity to say Elokai neshama before we go further. That's why it's important. So if we miss it, even in middle of Shema or the bracha of Shema, you could stop and start saying Elokai neshama. If you forgot all of the bracha of Shachar, all the morning brachot, you forgot all of them. You forgot to say Shelo asali kotzorki, Shelo asani goy, Shelo asani isha, Shelo asani shivcha, if you're a woman. You forgot all those brachot. What do you do then? Or can you say them now? And you remembered after Shacharit. You finished the entire Shacharit. Obviously, you don't say Elokai neshama anymore because you said the Amidah. We're saying this is after you finish Shacharit, so you don't say Elokai neshama because you were Yotze already. But all the other brachot, you could say them. You could say all of them. Right, so basically, all the other brachot, if you miss them, you could say them after the Amidah, except for Elokai neshama. Elokai neshama you can't repeat anymore. Now, we'll see also how much time you have during the day to say all the brachot. What do you guys think? Midday, you say chatzot, midday, 12 o'clock, 11:30. Now we're just throwing out numbers. 11:30, 10:30. Someone that did not make the brachot of the morning, the morning blessings at all, and he forgot, יכול לברך את כולם במשך כל היום. You could say all the brachot the entire day. All day long. Obviously, you can't say Elokai Neshama again because you hopefully already said Amidah in the morning, right? All the other brachot, you have the entire day to say them. There are those that say even after nightfall, after the 3 stars, you could still say all the brachot of that day until it's like, you know, once you fall asleep and you wake up and you're like, oh, Birkhot nagufta. You know, I forgot, then you can't say them anymore. Once you fall asleep, you can't do it anymore. As long as you're awake, you can make all the brachot. There is what to rely on to make all the brachot. But definitely, l'chatchila, before shkia, you should for sure, you know, remember to say it before shkia, before sunset. However, according to some, you could still even say it after sunset. But once you go to bed, or once it becomes midnight, you're done. You can't say them anymore. If you forgot to say Asher Yatzar, you went to the bathroom, right, in the morning, you forgot to say Asher Yatzar, the bracha, and you remembered after Shacharit. You already davened all of Shacharit, and you remembered, this morning I went to the bathroom again, and I forgot to say Asher Yatzar. You could say it still. It doesn't matter. As long as 72 minutes have not passed, as we said before, you could still say Asher Yatzar. However, if now you feel like you need to go to the restroom, then you don't say it now. You go to the restroom and then you say it. So basically, you went to the bathroom in the morning. You forgot to say Asher Yatzar. You davened all of Shacharit. After Shacharit, you remembered you need to make Asher Yatzar. But now you want to go to the bathroom again. Don't say Asher Yatzar yet until you go to the bathroom again, and then say Asher Yatzar. Because you don't want to, in this way, you're not going to say 2 Asher Yatzars, because you need to go to the bathroom again. So you just say one for both of them. Lo alinu bar minan, someone that has a death in the family, like someone close to them, like a father or mother or wife, chas v'shalom, bar minan, is called an onen. And the onen is a person that has lost someone that in the 7 relatives, and they have not buried the deceased yet. So when they haven't buried the deceased yet, the person that's mourning the deceased is called an onan. Now this person is not allowed to make brachot. They're not chayav in any of the tefillot or any of the brachot. Nothing. They don't even say Shema. Nothing. So he says brachot Hashahar. He doesn't say either, or she doesn't say either. But after the burial, you have the entire day. The person has the entire day to say all of the brachot, even brachot HaTorah, even making the brachot HaTorah. Why are we including to say that person could even say the bracha of Torah? Why would we think not to make brachot of Torah? Anyone think why we would think that he shouldn't or they shouldn't make the bracha of Torah? What? No. The reason is because an avel is patur. An avel is not allowed to learn Torah, right? And I was not allowed to learn Torah. But even though they're not allowed to learn Torah, they still make Birkhot Torah, because there are things that they're allowed to learn. They're allowed to learn Halachot of mourning. You know, they're allowed to learn like Megillat Echad, things that talk about the destruction of the temple, things that are in sadness, that they can learn. Right? So they still make the bracha of Torah. Now, we're going to go into a new chapter now that discusses the chiyuv, the obligation on each person in the Jewish nation, which we call Jews or Jewish. We have the obligation of saying 100 brachot a day. This is a very important mitzvah. Each Jew is obligated halachically to make 100 brachot per day. Yeah, we should. We should actually count them, like keep a count. Yeah, including all those, it's very doable. It gets a little hard though, I'll show you. Chayav Adam, a person is obligated to make 100 brachot a day. Ve'em yochal, and if he eats 3 meals a day, right? Meaning he doesn't have hamotziphobia. You know what that is, right? Yeah, hamotziphobia is people. Yeah, hamotziphobia, or what Ashkenazim call benchophobia. Yeah. It's like the fear of having to say Birkat Hamazon. So they're like, how much of that is hamotzi? How much of that do I have to eat to make Birkat Hamazon? Like, according to some, bread is not even hamotzi, it's shahakol. And you're standing there going, according to no one, is bread. What if it's grown in sand? There's so many different ways that people try to get away from just making hamotzi, doing netidah. It literally is a phobia. Why? Because how long does Birkat Hamazon technically take? 3 minutes? 4 minutes? It's really nothing. It really is nothing. But there's this fear of like, oh. And the worst one though is fleishophobia. You guys know what fleishophobia is? It's like, hold on a second, what time is it? No, I'm not having meat right now. Because I want to have dairy tonight. 6 hours, it's going to go into 9:30. I cut it by 7. Everybody, it's like I can't eat meat now because I want to have, or some people literally don't have meat all day because they might have to eat something dairy, especially those that are addicted to chocolate. It's a very bad addiction. It's horrific. People have been like literally tied down to beds in hospitals because they need to get over they got cocoa insulin. They pump them with cocoa on a daily, but very limited amounts so that they can come off their, yeah. No, I'm not serious. This is a joke, okay? Some of us should actually think about it. So why am I saying this? Because if a person eats 3 full meals, meaning with bread, 30 grams of bread, you say Birkat Hamazon 3 times, you have many brachot in Birkat Hamazon, and you daven 3 times a day, Shachrit, Mincha, and Arvit, and the brachot of Shema, and the brachot of the morning, done. 100 brachot a day, boom. You've made the 100 blessings, no biggie. Ain't no problem. Right? Belly, whole wheat. Birkat Hamazon? Yeah. Breakfast, you got bread. Lunch, you eat bread. Dinner, you eat bread. And then enlist into Weight Watchers or something like that. Or definitely go to the gym. I'm kidding. If a person knows the amounts and how to eat, believe me, bread is not the most fattening thing in the world. If we stay off of sugars and wrong kinds of sugars and wrong kinds of flour and things like that, bread is not a problem. It really is not. So, there are those that hold, there are those that hold that the chiyuv, the obligation of making 100 brachot a day is actually from the Torah. And there are those that say no, it's midirabanan. So there are those that say it's because of the curses that we have. Now, one thing that we know is, it says in Shmuel Bet, these are the words of King David, the son of Yishai. And he says, and it starts, V'na'im Zmirot Yisrael, Al. The next person, Al. And Al, Ayin and Lamed, right, is the gematria of Me'ah, which is 100, right? So what happened was, there was an epidemic going on in the time of King David. There were 100 people dying per day in Israel, which was a huge deal. And through Ruach HaKodesh, David HaMelech sees what the problem is, and he makes the takana, and he has the Chachamim make the takana, that from now on, every Jew is obligated to make 100 blessings a day. As soon as they make the takana, the epidemic stops. No one dies anymore. And since then, that became the rule. Every Jew must make 100 brachot a day. It's not it's not optional.
How many are we at in Sakhai and Sakhai?
You have 19 in each. So 19 times 3.
No, but Sakhai and other brachot.
Oh, right. The brachot. I don't know off the top of my head if I would have. Yeah, like I said, on a regular day, right, Asher Yatzar, exactly. So I'm saying on a regular day, it really isn't a big deal, especially if you eat at least one meal with bread. It really isn't a big deal, right? Hold on. So the Chachamim that actually say that there's a hint in the Torah about saying 100 brachot a day, it comes from the pasuk that says, "Ma Hashem Elokecha shoel mimecha." What is it that Hashem wants from you? What is it that Hashem requests of you, that wants you to do? Ma, the word ma, mem hey, in atbash, which means atbash is it is exactly what I'm saying it is. Aleph taf bet shin, atbash, meaning it's a code in Judaism where you take the alphabet and each one of the alphabet represents the other end of the alphabet. So aleph is taf, bet is shin, get it? Atbash, and so on and so forth. And words have different meanings, or sometimes it doesn't even have a meaning, but it becomes a different kind of a code that refers to something. So in atbash, the word ma becomes 100. The gematria becomes 100. And therefore, Chachamim say that ma Hashem Elokecha shoel mimecha, what does Hashem really want from you? Ma is what Hashem wants from you. And the atbash of ma is 100. Hashem wants you to make 100 brachot a day. And that's what we should do. There's a lot of things that we learn from this. And that's what the Rambam says. The Rambam says that the chayav adam, a man is obligated. Adam meaning man means human beings. Relax, everybody. Chayav adam levarech mea barachot ben hayom ba'layla. Each person is chayav, is obligated to make 100 brachot a day or night. Meaning, we Jews start the day from the night. So, let's say, just like Shabbat. Right. So if you've already started your brachot at night, Friday night, it counts for Shabbat. So it even makes it even better, because already at night it starts counting for the next day. Question arises, if you didn't make your brachot already, and you're one day and you said your brachot at night, does it count for the 100 brachot of the day or the next day? That is a Gemara cup right there. Every person that was learning Gemara would be like, we'll find out after 120. I think the Shas would be much smaller.
So is the deadline sundown?
The best is before sundown, yes. But as we said, there are those that hold that you could rely on. If you really miss the brachot, you have until you fall asleep, you could say. Which you should not do, obviously. It's brachot. Brachot should be said mamash, like you wake up, you do natilat yadayim. Whether you go to shul or not, I don't know. That's up to you. Everyone should go to Bet Knesset every morning. But if you don't, before you do anything else, you say your brachot. You should not go about your day without making your brachot. That's for shizi. Yes, you open the door, you enter the restroom. First, I'm trying to explain the entire process. You make Asher Yatzar after you come out. Yeah. Without Natilat Yadayim. You don't need to.
Oh, really?
You can go to the restroom, you wash your hands, obviously, in the restroom, right? But you don't need to do Natilat Yadayim. You can make Asher Yatzar, you wipe your hands on your sheets, and you make Asher. Orale? Not to say Natilat Yadayim. Preferred, yes, if it's not a burden on you, you go wash, right? But if you feel like you're going to trip on something, or you're going to wake up because the water's too cold, or it's too cold, and you're not going to be able to fall back asleep, just wash your hands in the bathroom and make Asher Yatzar. So now, also. So now on Shabbat, let's go further and then I'll come back to that. But Shabbat uv Yom Tov, on Shabbat and Yom Tov, which we're kind of lacking on brachot on Shabbat and Yom Tov. Why? Because the Amidah is much shorter, right? So Shabbat and Yom Tov is the time that you really have to kind of figure out how are you going to make your 100 brachot a day, because you're missing those. So how do we do it? So basically, first of all, on Shabbat and Yom Tov, we also have to make 100 blessings a day. That's for sure. So how do we do it? So what do you do? Kiddush and stuff, yes. Birkat Hamazons, definitely. If you have 3 meals a day, which we should, lunch and then so the shlishit. You got to have as much as you can. Be'enlo, and you got to have a lot of fruits and different kinds of nuts and things like that you can make brachot the entire day on, right? Yevarech al limon birkat hanoten l'reach b'perot, or take a shout out to all them limu lovers. You take a lemon, you kind of scratch it, and you make the bracha for the smell of fruits. It's Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Hanoten Reyach Tov Baperot. That Hashem gives a good smell to fruits. And then you take the golab, and you make your rose water, you make Borei Minei Besamim. You take atzeh, you make atzeh besamim from a tree, and you take mint, right? You could make ispeh besamim on mint, and you make these brachot the whole day, you'll be chilling, right? You'll be good. What? What's the easier way? Knock yourself out, and after 120 years, be like, I was knocked out, I don't even know what happened. No. Don't scratch the fruit. No, scratching the fruit is not difficult. What's your question, though? Yes, but there's this. How many different kinds of foods can you eat that is different brachot? Like you're going to have nuts and stuff. Most nuts are ha'etz, right? So you make a ha'etz on grapes. You're not going to be like, you shouldn't do ha'etz on grapes and then go and get nuts, go and do another ha'etz. You can't do that, right? Because it'll count because you're eating at that time. So yeah. Okay, we'll have to go into that some other time. But atzeh is basically, it's like ha'adam and ha'etz, kind of. Atzeh is for trees, ispeh is for esev, which is grass type, like mint is kind of, reach tov b'perot is fruits. But it's more to it something. Mineh is basically in between, kind of. Like, it means, it's like shahakol. It's like when it's liquefied and you don't, well, I don't want to say it now because it might be confusing. People watching it are going to take it as malacha lemasa, and it shouldn't. Atzeh besamim v'aris besamim belel Shabbat a Friday night and the next day, because we said it counts for the next day when you make Friday night. And if with that you still know that you haven't made your 100 brachot, because you should be counting. Right? You could be yotze with the brachot that each person makes when they go up for an aliyah. We don't make 100 brachot when we do. I don't know which shul you're davening in, but they're not giving out 50 brachot. If they are giving out 50 brachot, that is a lot of musifim in one day. But no, I'm saying like for the 7 brachot, and then maftir, the bracha of maftir, and then all those brachot. When we listen to them, we have to listen to them. We can't just not. And we answer amen. Kol Yisrael arim zelazeh. It counts as us also making the brachot, and it counts. Those brachot count as well. It's more than 8 because it's 1 bracha before and 1 bracha after. Right? So each one is 2. So that's, if you do this 8, if you do the 8, it would like, let's say because you have mashlimam after you do 8, let's say 8, you got 16 right there. Right, and then bracha of haftarah, and then, so there is ways of doing it, but the best way of doing it, obviously, is to do brachot ourselves too, with besamim, mineh besamim, eisveh besamim, atzeh besamim. The same thing is true on Yom Kippurim. Yom Kippur is even more difficult, right? Because we're not allowed to eat on Yom Kippur. So like literally we're missing a lot of brachot on Yom Kippur. And we need those Zechuyot. We need those merits on Yom Kippur. So on Yom Kippur, I always tell and I always announce that there should be golab, there should be rose water, and different atzeh besamim, and have different things to smell in the shul so that people could bank on those. Even though some people thought, like, Rabbi, you're not allowed to smell good things on Yom Kippur. It's Yom Kippur. It's a mistake. You're allowed to smell good things on Yom Kippur. There's nothing against smelling on Yom Kippur. You had a question?
Yeah, if you're not, you know how like something that's not allowed, you can't say another like alcohol for a certain amount of time. What if you're like...
Right, for the smelling, we call it hesichtat. As long as a period goes by where it's long enough where like you're not thinking of it anymore. Right? When it comes to Bineh Besamim, well, I guess as long as like, you smelled and then you went to one of your tefillot or whatever it is, you can come and make another bracha again. As we said, the accounting for the brachot starts from the erev, from the night before, right, until the night after. A person should really, on Shabbat especially, count all of the brachot, because we're lacking, so we should count, so that we can get to the 100. If you know how to make haftarah, if you know how to read the haftarah well, you should try to buy the haftarah yourself so you can make those brachot also. And if you are the shaliach tzibur as well, not only are you doing the amidah itself, you're also doing the chazara, so you're going to bank on those chazara brachot, right? So if you become the chazan in the shul, then you have those brachot as well. Now people are going to be breaking heads to become chazan at Neta, which is good. V'lachen. Now let's say like on Shabbat, your Seudah Shlishit goes long into the night, which happens, right? Now it already became nighttime, and now you want to do Birkat Hamazon. Does that Birkat Hamazon count for the next day, or is it going to be Birkat Hamazon that will count for your previous day that you're trying to make the brachot? And the answer is, they will count for his 100 brachot for Yom Shabbat. Because all of that is a continuation of Shabbat. Therefore, the halakha is the same. Whenever you have, let's say, it was Rosh Chodesh on Shabbat. Retzeh. Forget Rosh Chodesh. Retzeh. In Birkat Hamazon, we have to say Retzeh v'achalitzenu for Shabbat. Right? Now you ate Seudah Shlishit and it's night already and Shabbat is over. But you haven't said Birkat Hamazon. Now you want to say Birkat Hamazon. Do you add Retzeh still in there or not? Yes. If it was Rosh Chodesh, do you say Rosh Chodesh now that it's nighttime and it's no longer Rosh Chodesh? You say Ya'aleh ve'yavo still in Birkat Hamazon. Because it's the continuation of your Seudah which you started on the day before, so to speak. So you still say, am I making sense or am I saying it like, I'm kind of adding this in here? Okay? Alright. So we'll...
What's Seudah Revi? Does that count as Shabbat?
Seudah Revi'it is a good question. That's what he's asking. I'm not sure. But we're saying if it's... could be. Could be you're right, could be you're wrong, I don't know. That's how we deal with things. It is after, but what I'm thinking is maybe, could we say that it's still part of the Shabbat, because Seudah Revi'it is...
So let me ask you a question. Havdalah is considered the day before or the day after?
Exactly. See, that's another thing. Like, does Havdalah... I would say Havdalah also counts for the day before. Still. Because it's like, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. Like to be continued. TBC. Since we were discussing, since we were discussing Halachot Birkhot and making the Ma'a Birkhot a day, Harav Ovadia Yosef, Zecher Tzadik Bracha, was very, very adamant about making 100 blessings a day. Very. As any tzaddik would be. You know, it's an obligation you need to do every single day. So he had procedures that he covered every day, especially on Shabbat and Yomim Tovim, to make sure that he's going to make his 100 brachot a day. One of which was a small little garden that he had in his balcony. And his garden had different kinds of spices and things with different brachot, and would walk in there once in a while on Shabbat. In between his learning, he would go make brachot, mineh, atzeh, ispeh, and go back, and then again, once again, however much time would pass in the middle, so he would be sure that he's making. By the way, we should try our best to make more than 100 brachot a day, to add on to it. A blessing is a blessing. And Harav Ovadia Yosef, the type of person that he was constantly engrossed in his world of Torah. By that I mean he didn't know half the time he didn't even know what's happening around him when he was delved so deep into Torah learning. And that is how everything was built around him. That's how his wife, his kids, everybody nurtured that. That's what they lived by. We need to make sure that the Hacham is capable and is always enabled to be able to do more. That's how he lived life. Baruch Hashem, his wife, the Rabbanit, was a tzaddiket beyond belief. That's a story for another time. How she made sure that Rabbi Ovadia is not missing anything so that he can grow to be the person that he became. So she took care of this garden. She had a special gardener that would come on whenever she would call him. He would come and take care of the garden and make sure everything is growing, all the flowers are growing, nip them if he needs to nip them, make sure that it's always nice and beautiful. Harav Ovadia Yosef was clueless himself. He had his thing and everything else was taken care of by the people that were responsible to take care of it. When the Rabbanit Margalit passed away, she passed away long time before Harav Ovadia Zecher Tzadik Bracha passed away. Zichron Livracha, when she passed away, after a few weeks, the garden started to, get dried out. And again, Rav Ovadia didn't know anything, he wasn't involved in these things. So there was nothing for him to go do mineh v'samim and stuff like that. So for a couple of weeks, he was kind of struggling on Shabbats to make his brachot. He would make probably more than 100 brachot. But it was just, that part of it wasn't there. One day, the gardener comes to the house, knocks on the door. Now the gardener didn't ever deal with Rav Ovadia himself, really. So he comes, Rav Ovadia, Kvod Harav, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. He says, I'm sorry, who are you? He says, I'm the gardener that takes care of the little garden that you have inside your balcony. I am so sorry. Mochel me, please forgive me. I didn't know your wife passed away. He says, it's okay. You don't have to be sorry about it. He's like, no, I'm mamash. I didn't know. That's why I haven't come to take care of your garden all this time. So Rav Ovadia asks, so how did you find out? What happened? He says, you will not believe me. Last night, the Rabbanit came to me in a dream. She came to me in a dream and said, what are you doing? Don't you see the Hacham is suffering because he needs to make his 100 blessings a day? He needs his garden. Where have you been? It's I woke up, I started asking around and I found out she had passed away. I had no idea. She hadn't called me to come take care of the garden. I'm really sorry. And he starts to take care of the garden again. It's unbelievable in many ways. One is we see the importance of the 100 brachot a day. How impactful they are for our neshama. We don't realize it, to make blessings every day. They have an impact, we don't realize it. Number two is, for those people that really believe that after 120, when a person passes on, they don't know what goes on here, they have no... there is nothing further than the truth. After 120, the people know exactly what is going on this earth after them. Especially they know what is going on around their family and the things that they cared about. And if they were involved in mitzvot, even they have the zechut that even when they're gone, they still get zechuyot, they still get merit from the mitzvot that they were involved in when they were alive. And that's a zechut for them. Because they're the ones who were involved in it, they're the ones who started it. So when a person starts a mitzvah, you start a charitable organization, start something like that, it's huge, because even after a person is gone, after 120, those things, every single time someone gets involved in that organization that you helped open, or in that mitzvah that you helped start, you get zechut from that. You get merit from that. You get elevated from it, because you had a part in it. It's unbelievable. People think, oh, the guy, so I told you guys, somebody came up to me and said, Rabbi, do you really believe that people go and they know things, or they feel things, or they understand things? I don't believe it. I can't understand how anybody living in this world could really have that kind of a mentality. I can't understand it. Because if you look at the other side of it, it's pretty dark. Because what could it be? You're here for 80, 90, 100 years, 120 years, Bezrat Hashem, for all of us. And then, poof, you're gone, and that's it. What was it for? So why should a person try so hard to live so long? What's it for? If it's meaningless, there's nothing after, so what are we doing? It's a pretty sad life. If you really believe that afterwards there's nothing, it's pretty sad. It's very depressing. What is the purpose then? Something to really think about. If a person really feels nothing happens afterwards, then what are we here for then? Then why do you have a problem with people killing people? Why would we have a problem with anybody committing suicide? If there is nothing, if there's no purpose to this life, there has to be. It's the most logical thing you could possibly do. There has to be something other than that. Even though science today has finally come to the conclusion that the soul never dies. It becomes energy and forever lives. Right? It takes time for science to catch up. Right? Give it another 100 years, it'll be like, yeah, the soul actually goes somewhere else. We don't know where it is yet. And then one of them's going to be like, maybe after 120, we'll find out.